But and what ends up happening in those types of environments is a very referral-based network, right? So I see you at a networking event a few times. We have a few conversations. I get to know and trust you. I bump into somebody else that I think might be a good fit for your service, and I make an introduction. I was like, so, hey, Jane Doe over here, Liana, I thought it'd be a good idea for you guys to meet. And I send an email that says, hey, Liana, Jane does this, and hey, Jane, Liana does that. I think you guys would have a great conversation. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you both again. And that's great. And that referral-based networking is good. And there's a lot of good things that can happen from it. But I had this epiphany one day that made me think like there was more to it. And what happened was I had a client I was doing some sales work with, some sales process improvement work. And I uncovered that they had some marketing gaps in their marketing information. So I went out to one of the networking people that I met, and I said, I have something that might be good for you, but it's already a client of mine. So I don't want to do one of those traditional mutual introductions because I don't want there to be any ambiguity between us. Like I just felt like there were some weird things that could happen. I said, so here's what I'd like to do if you're okay with it. Rather than just make an email mutual introduction, I'd like to schedule a meeting, have you come in with me. We can make the introduction at the meeting and then explain to him, the customer, how the two of us are going to work together to solve both of these problems. And at the time she was like, oh, I've never really done that before. I don't, I've worked with other consultants, but it's always been in our own little silo and the customer tells us what's going on. And I said, that's great. And I understand that that's happened in the past. I go, but I felt like that this was different. And this was a good example to me of how the whole was greater than the sum of its parts. But from purely business perspective. So think of it from like if you're in the consulting world and you're thinking about billable hours, I'm looking at this going, the customer gets 3 times the amount of work from 2 people than he would get from one. It's greater than the sum of its parts, right?
Yep.
Because the outcomes are going to be better if her and I were working together and making sure that everything was in sync. And we ran our own separate companies, but that didn't matter. What we ended up becoming together for and applying the teamwork approach to was the customer's goals, not our goals.
You were talking about, so it's really about partnerships is how you build your network. And, we are an independent marketing agency. And as an agency who is new, I rely heavily on partnerships. And, we just wrapped on a big tech conference where we were the exclusive marketing partner. And for a big event like that, there was a lot of needs. There was needs for credentialing. There was needs for promo items. There was needs for signage. There was needs for social media. There was needs for photography and videography. There was needs for video production. And I have a small team, but I really relied on my partners, especially the days that we were in Florida at the event, having my photography partners there with me. I mean, it was a win-win for everybody.